Welcome back, Shadow Keepers. Tonight, the cold cuts a little deeper. Winter has always had a way of sharpening fear. Long nights, empty roads, snow that swallows sound whole. And some stories only come out when the world goes quiet. I'm B.
And I'm Lee, and if you ever felt watched while scraping ice off your windshield or sent something off while snow felt a little too hard, you're not alone, because tonight we're diving into real accounts pulled straight from Reddit, stories told by people who experienced something strange during the coldest months of the year.
So grab a blanket, lower the lights, and maybe keep one ear open for the footsteps outside, because these winter stories don't just chill your bones.
They follow you long after the snow melts. Welcome to Shadow Keepers. My first story is from Valken Hades. Footsteps in the snow. The most scared I've ever been. One time when I was 16, I was preparing to go to sleep, but couldn't fall asleep. It was a cold winter night around 2 a.m. I started hearing distant footsteps in the snow that were getting closer. That was already a little weird, I felt, at this hour and around these parts, but even weirder and scarier was the fact that the footsteps stopped right in front of my room's window. When I looked at my closed curtains, I saw a shadow just standing there. I was so scared that my immediate reaction was just to hide under the blankets, but I must have stayed under the blankets for probably an hour straight, just waiting and hoping I would hear the person leaving. Just waiting to hear the footsteps again, but there was no sound. So I kept thinking they're still there. I was too scared to look again, so I just stayed under my blanket. Eventually, I fell asleep because I was too tired. But in the morning, I jumped out of bed, vividly remembering what happened. I ran upstairs and looked outside, and sure enough, there were footsteps in the snow, and they stopped right in front of my window, but went nowhere else. This confirmed it wasn't a dream, but now I was really confused. Why did someone stop here around 2 or 3 a.m., and what happened to them? I wanted to share the story on the No Sleep subreddit, but that place appears to be for made up silly stories only and not real things that actually happened to us. As you can see, this is between real and paranormal. It could just be a normal person and there could be an explanation for why there's no second trail of footsteps. Maybe they just retraced their steps, or it could be something paranormal. Of course, back then this felt like something paranormal, but now that I'm older, I believe less in those things. But I think I found this experience really interesting and I often think about it. What do you think? Paranormal or snore normal?
Snore normal?
That's what it says. Snore normal. I mean, the fact that there's no other footsteps except that coming to your window, and that's it, makes me feel like even if they retrace their steps, that footprint would kind of
They'll
get a little
distort it
messed up. Yeah, it wouldn't be like perfect.
unless he walk backwards.
Like putting his foot exactly in the
Yeah.
exact grooves. Like otherwise, I don't see how it could be a person.
But also, like, considering we just got this big ass snowstorm, the way the wind blows too could have just covered the retreating footsteps on the angle where the house is.
But you would still see something.
I know, but that would creep me. That would creep me out. I don't want to see no footsteps leading up to my house.
Yeah, and the fact that you heard it come there, you saw a shadow. You know something was there,
I'll have to look.
but then it just disappeared, like, right there,
I would have to
like
peek. I feel like they should make all windows like double sided. I want
yeah.
to see you, but I don't want you to see me.
Yeah, the fact that you heard the footsteps come to you, but you never heard it go away from you. That's what makes me think is paranormal.
Yeah. Well, here's a story from Nobo Jr. I heard sleigh bells overhead on Christmas Eve when I was younger, but I was in my teens. The only other person in the house was asleep, and I was sitting up late watching a Christmas special. It must have been almost midnight. The show ended with sleigh bells that slowly faded into silence. I shut off the TV and stood up to go to bed when suddenly I froze because I could hear sleigh bells. They slowly got louder, though still distant, and I realized that they sounded like they were overhead. They seemed to pass or circle the house. I distinctly remember turning my head to follow them as I listened. Then they faded away. The whole thing only took a few seconds. It was midnight on a cold, snowy Christmas Eve in a rural house in the middle of the countryside. I have no idea. I would have been excited. What are you talking about? That's not scary.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, bitch, that was Santa Claus. What are you talking about? He real.
Mhm. It confirmed it.
Who confirmed it?
The sleigh bells.
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Well, how does it get to everybody's house?" First of all, everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas.
1, and 2 is magic. That's the whole point of it.
Also, we're all on different time zones.
No, because they have that Santa tracker on TV that you put on for the kids,
You could
so
also have
they
it on your
know.
phone.
Yeah, so, like, when we have our Christmas Eve party and my mother-in-law, she always has it on TV for the younger kids to see where Santa's coming so then they can go home and go to bed. "Oh, it's getting close, you better go home." I
No,
mean, mind you, it's one younger child. Everybody else is grown.
it don't matter. Everybody gotta go to bed. Like that one story that I was telling you about, where everybody had to go to bed by, like, 10, even the adults.
Okay, my next story is from Ulysses Flagg. It's called I Have a Weird Haunting in My House That Only Occurs During, Before, or After Christmas/New Year. This is something I have recently just remembered, but every year in my home, I have a paranormal event in a certain time of the year. But enough explaining, I'll get to the point. So, when first came across these occurrences was a few months after I moved in. I moved in my home 10 years ago and during summertime and seen shadowy figures in my room and dining room and ghostly woman that occurs before or after Christmas/New Year near or in my dining room. Stuff that occurs during this time frame, banging on the walls, ghostly apparitions, front door violently slamming, doors locked as these occur at 6 or 7 p.m. and when everyone is in so that I cannot explain. Hear what sounds like someone is brushing their teeth when no one is in the bathroom. This one is cliche in a way, but this actually creeped my family out and me as well. A pale, feminine figure by the garden sheds. I do know the previous owner died in the house, and these sightings occurred by or near the dining room as before we moved. The woman had her bedroom where we eat, and thus they occur there. I thought of telling this now as everyone I have asked outside my family thinks I'm joking or they're teasing me with their bullshit. I have other stories, but they're quite short and they are from my parents' point of view. But I do have another, but hope to hear me again soon. And this is more fucked up and doesn't include the dead woman.
That was so PC.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the last tenant died there and that was their room, I would think they're still there. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
even know they died. Like, let's say if it was an older person and they died in their sleep. Sometimes I wonder if you know that you died when you go in your sleep, or if your heart suddenly just stops. Do you know it happened? You know what I mean?
Well, it's like, cause if you go off some theories, we never die because we're energy. So, like, you could become energy that's trapped.
Yeah, but I'm saying like their brain wasn't aware that that's what happened, so they think they're still alive and they're just going about their normal day.
But I wonder if that happens only if it's like a traumatic, tragic death.
That's what I'm saying, like, something that just happened right away. Like, if you're sleeping and you pass away, do you think that was a dream? Do you think you were dreaming and then you just get up and you're just like, "Oh, I'm awake now," and then you just go about your regular day? Or do you know it's happening? I don't know. I have no idea. But even when you have a sudden heart attack and you just drop, just drop right then and there, do you know it happened mentally,
I guess not. No, like
consciously?
if you had like a brain aneurysm,
Or your just
that
heart
freaks me.
stops.
I don't know why that freaks me out. Like, I'm like to just be alive one moment and just like die.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think you consciously have time to even process what happened.
yeah,
So, do you know that you passed away? And you're just going about your regular day like that woman. Maybe she is not haunting. I think it said a woman, I'm not sure. But maybe that entity is not haunting, it's just doing its regular things.
yeah.
Banging the
It's
doors, this, and that. Maybe they were just a loud person
it's
in
living in a loop
life. Yeah,
of its life.
because some people are just loud people, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I live with a few.
Exactly.
We over here trying to be quiet, and they over here banging stuff.
I like that movie, I forgot what it's called, but the ghosts thought that they were haunted, and then the real people were doing a seance because those were actually the ghosts. I forget, it was like,
I don't remember that. I
you know
forget
what
what
I mean?
movie it is.
Until she figured out, like, "Wait a minute, I killed my children and myself. We are the
What the?
ghosts." And then it hit her,
Okay.
all the memories came back to her what happened because she thought that they were just living in their regular time period where waiting for her husband to come back from war, and they were being haunted. And then here, there was a seance being done because that house was haunted by her and her children. So, it's kinda like that.
Okay. My story is from Upset Inside, 8719. I had one experience that still creeps me out to this day. I was staying in an old cabin in the woods with a few friends, and one night around 3 a.m., we heard faint knocking on the windows. The weird part, the cabin was in the middle of nowhere. No neighbors, no roads nearby. At first, we thought it was just the wind or an animal. An animal knocking on your window?
Mhm.
But then the knocking started moving. First on one window, then another, as if someone or something was circling the cabin. When we finally got the courage to check outside with a flashlight, no one was there. No footprints, no sign of anything. We barely slept that night. And to this day, none of us can explain what happened. Maybe it was just our imaginations, or maybe we weren't alone. Have you ever had a real life experience that felt like a horror movie?
There's a lot of hauntings with knockings on walls and windows and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And unless you are having, like, what's it called? Like, is it a mass hallucination? Like, when more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
person is having it?
Experiencing
It's
the
like,
same thing, yeah.
'cause, yeah, there's times where, like, they'll hear something, they're like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "No, I don't hear that."
Mhm.
Tony the other day, actually, for, like, recently, and he said it to me a couple times. He was like, "Do you hear?" He's like, "Is the TV on in the other room?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "But there's voices." And I'm like, "There's no voices." And he'll pause the TV and he'll listen. He's like, "There's voices coming from the other room." And I'll get up and I'll look around. I'm like, "There's no voices." And he's like, going driving me crazy. So then I turned off because, I keep fans on because I'm always hot. I turned my fans off, and I'm like, "Now do you hear the voices?" And he listened, and he's like, "No, I don't." And, I ended up Googling it. So, your brain doesn't sometimes understand random sounds out of nowhere.
Mhm.
So, if it can't register, like, the sound of a fan, it will basically give your brain will give you what's, like, the closest thing to that. So, it was giving him conversations. So when the fan is on, it sounds like he's hearing conversations or
Mhm.
music playing in the other room, which I was like, "That sounds freaking insane." But also kinda makes sense about, like, a lot of things, like, people experience, like, in the past,
Mhm.
like hauntings. Like, were you really hearing something, or was it
Yeah.
just a sound that your brain turned into something
That happened
else?
to me a couple of times. My next story is from over AD 3540. It's called Footprints in the Snow. 2 months ago was the first time it snowed in my area, Tennessee. My daughter, 8, was playing in the snow, and only she and I had been home all day. We have dogs who are on an electric fence and cannot go to the area she exercises. She ran back inside to tell me that there was footprints where the dogs couldn't go. I dismissed her and she went back outside and came back. She told me the footprints only go one way, mama. They just stop, like they appeared and disappear. No tire tracks, no one around, just us. It was odd, but I was sure the landlord had come by or something. Fast forward a few weeks, it snows again, and this time my daughter is gone for the weekend, and me and my boyfriend are home. We were inside all night, and after the snow had started, we were in bed. The next morning, I noticed footprints on my porch and asked my boyfriend if he had been outside in the night. He said no. I asked him to look at the prints, and he walked the entire property. He comes back to the truck and says, "Funny thing is, the prints just stop. The start and stop, but nowhere is there a truck or four-wheeler mark. It doesn't make sense." Both my boyfriend and my daughter had told me the same thing, that the prints disappear. I'm freaked out at this point, but I go along. It snows again this week, and just like all the other times, I wake up in the morning and my boyfriend is still asleep, and I notice footprints on my porch, same area as time number 2, by my back door and dog's room. There is Nest cameras all over the house. I can see every direction. I took pictures this time, and I also took pictures of him still in bed, asleep. The snow started, and he was at work until 11 p.m. The snow had come down in the majority by that time. It had to have happened in the night, as it always has before. He didn't go outside, and we checked the cameras and nothing. I don't understand it, and I can't figure it out. I seem crazy, and no one seems to have an answer. My relatively close neighbors are nice, and the tracks aren't by their house. Please help with an answer to this. And someone said it's most likely a ghost. They can leave footprints without being seen. Another possibility is a person who can fly. The person flies in, walks around, and flies off. We have those where I live. They've even been experienced by people who don't believe in the paranormal, and it often scares them because they can't make sense of it. If it's a person, the motion detector camera would have photographed them.
Not always.
What, the photograph?
Yeah, because okay, alright, it was kinda creepy the other day. I was talking to my sister, and I had my shades up,
Mhm.
and so I'll be able to see if somebody, like, walked by my path. and I'm, like, talking to her, and I'm, like, looking out the window, and I saw someone walk by with, like, a red hoodie on, but,
Yeah.
like a burgundy red hoodie, and all I saw was, like, the head part, and I was like, "Huh, I wonder who the hell is, like, walking by my house," because to be that close, then it means, like, you're going to the
Yeah.
mailbox or dropping something off. So then my sister's like, "Oh, well, check your camera." I checked my camera, the thing is, my camera was triggered. It caught no one on the camera.
Yeah.
What's weird, though, is they weren't walking away from my house, they were walking towards my house. So there would be no reason unless so to me, you would have to walk towards my house, drop off whatever you're dropping off, and then walk back the way you came.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. They
Mhm.
just walked towards my house, and then that was it. So when I checked my camera, it says camera triggered, but when I looked, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe they just got out of range by the time I came on.
Yeah, this person said the camera is motion activated. Any slight movement, a mouse could set it off. The cameras caught nothing. The front of the house is heavily covered with cameras, and there is no one entering that direction. The three sides are cornfields that are chopped down now, just open fields, and the neighbors are out of sight. I've met my neighbors, and it's not them. But what is this? My boyfriend used the theory of walking in the area and it's sinking, but I don't go outside that day either. I slept all day. He was gone all day, and that theory could be true on land, but not on the porch. So,
Yeah, I don't know. See, because my thing, I always gotta explain it away because 'cause I'm not trying to freak myself out.
no, I
Like,
automatically say it was a ghost. That was a spirit. That's my answer. Anything, any sound I hear, I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a
well,
ghost."
I say that, but people are more scary than ghosts,
Yeah,
so
that's why I'd rather it be a ghost.
I'd rather it be something like, "Okay, hey," because, yeah, I'd rather it be that than a person. Marcus Jana, bare footprints in the dead of winter. So this story is from when I was about 12 years old. I'm 18 now. The setting of this story is around January and in rural Minnesota. If anyone's ever been around here, you know there isn't anything around besides trees, farmland, and snow in upper Minnesota. One day, about an hour before sunset, my brother and I were playing outside in the snow as usual, and I decided I want to go explore the woods and make a fort. My brother was a very paranoid little kid. That'd be me. So he wouldn't come with me. As I'm trekking through our little snow covered alfalfa field towards the woods, right in front of me is tiny bare footprints, human footprints. I looked behind me to see where they came from, if it was from the road. Before anyone says deer tracks, looks similar to human feet. Again, I live in rural Minnesota. I've seen deer tracks almost 100 times before that. Also, these steps looked bipedal, walking on two legs. We have no neighbors for at least a 3/4 of a mile as well. As I'm looking at these tracks, I see that they lead to the woods. I remember getting a bad feeling, but my little dumbass decided to follow them anyway. No joke, I followed those footprints for about a 1/4 mile into the woods. I started feeling sick as I saw the footprints cross a barbed wire fence without a sign of struggle and straight into a big brush pile of what I assumed someone dumped there at some point. Was something leading me there? I didn't want to know. I look at the bush pile one more time to see that the child's footprints never left the bush. I ran all the way home as I feel I was being watched. Thinking back on it, I wish I explored the bush pile, but at some time, who knows what I would have found. Thank you for reading my story.
So bipedal is organisms that use two legs for standing, walking, or running.
Like us.
Like humans, birds, um, sometimes apes or bears.
That sound like fairies.
No, but it
'Cause
was human feet. Was it small? I don't remember. Did it
he
say it was
said
small or
small.
big?
He said, right in front of me is tiny bare footprints, human footprints.
Okay, tiny. And
So,
bear, yeah.
and they're
Because
bare feet. That gives me fairies.
yeah, that does.
Me and the baby were talking the other day. We were watching. Oh, I had him watch The Revenant with me because I love that movie. It's too crazy. So there's a part where he's getting water and the rocks are in a circular pattern. And he's like, man, I want to trap a fairy. And I'm like, we got a fairy ring in the front yard.
Yeah.
I said, you better be careful though. Fairies ain't cute and innocent. They
Mm-mm.
evil little motherfuckers. And so you gotta put a little tiny cup of sugar water into some bread and to trap them. Ask them
Yeah,
for whatever you want.
where are you gonna trap them though? You gonna make, like, a trap where it falls on top of them, like a rabbit trap or something?
So you can turn a fairy circle into a trap with the fact that it is a circle. So you basically then line the circle and then
So you close
they
off
can
the
come
circle.
in.
So you close off the circle. Let's say it was a mushroom circle. You just have to close it up.
Not necessarily. It's more like because they can come in,
Mhm.
but they won't be able to leave, especially if you left them a gift and they took it. Because
Yeah.
now they're bound by the responsibility of having to pay you back. But just like any story about a genie or a djinn or anything that grants wishes, you have to ask very specifically to get what you want. And you also have to, tacked on that little, and you're not allowed to take revenge on me.
You gotta close all the loopholes.
Yes, because fairies aren't cute little Tinkerbells. They're little demon motherfuckers with wings. A lot of people call them the devil's children. But
Okay,
yeah, that
my
was probably with the bare feet and them being tiny. What's getting me is the bare feet.
yeah.
You ran into some woodland creatures and they probably were trying to lead you to that brush because they like to trap people.
Mhm.
Mm. You would have came back somebody different, talking about you should have. I could see so many people going like, I want to find out. At that, you got to go over a barbed wire fence. That's not worth it for me.
Yeah. Just leave it go.
Yeah, let it go. None of your business.
Okay, my last story is by Antoinette Madeline, A Strange Occurrence. It happened to me during last winter. I was into some sort of white magic rituals. However, I caught a contact with other ritualists and we conducted one black magic ritual. A few days after, I noticed a strange occurrence. Namely, I was about to go to the vet clinic for my pet's medicine. It was around 6 p.m. and it was dark outside already. My car was parked in the garden, turned off. I wanted to open the gate. Then I noticed the car had their lights on, front lights and stop lights too. I thought it was strange because without keys, the lights would never switch on, especially stop ones. I looked at it for a while. Lights stayed switched on. I thought my dad took the second key and was checking something. When I turned my head to the gate side and then turned back, the lights were switched off. I approached the car, no one was there, and the car was locked. I asked my family about the issue, but no one was even near it at the time. A few days later, I checked auto at the mechanic. There was no problem with the electric system. It never happened again. Well, I mean, you did do some black magic ritual, so something could be messing with you. Yeah.
I listened to the story and I still don't know what happened.
Someone said, sounds like you get a bad spirit following you. Every time that you make a black magic ritual, the black magic comes back 2 times stronger to the people who make it, is a fact. And that is why it is not good to do that kind of shit. For now, own a lot of things that will happen to you or one member of your family. The weakest in energy will always receive it. Don't mess with black magic, they said.
Well, my thing is like, I feel like magic can't be white or black. I feel like it's your intention behind it.
Yeah, like when they did this black magic ritual, what was the intention of? What was it about?
Yeah. You can't give me a half-ass story.
Yeah, tell me what the ritual was about.
I need details. Why
Exactly.
did you do that?
How did you do it?
I don't know about how. We don't need to be giving people recipes for danger, okay? But I need to know what was the purpose. Like,
But
what was
you
you
need the
what was it
recipe for the flavor.
what was you intending? What did you expect the outcome to be? Like I think it's the same with anything, like messing with the Ouija board and not closing it properly or having a seance and not closing it properly. When you don't do things properly, things come back on you. But then also, I feel like I need people to be a little more cautious, like a little more scared to be like doing crazy things. Because people will be like, you know what? It's 2026. I'm not scared of nothing. This to me ain't real. This to me ain't real. Or this can't hurt me. This can't hurt me. So let me just mess around with all this nonsense
Yeah.
and bring this onto me. You don't know what you're doing.
That or like, "Oh, this is not real, so I'm gonna do it to see what
Yeah.
happens, because I don't believe it."
No. That's how
And
you
now
get
you
your ass
gotta and now
dead.
you got a shadow man following you everywhere you go.
That's how you get your ass dead or haunted for life. It's just gonna wait for you to have some kids, and it's just gonna leech onto them.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. Before we continue, let's take a moment to listen to the cards. Tarot has long been used as a mirror, reflecting energy, warning signs, and what lingers just beneath the surface. Tonight's card is the Fool Reversed. The full reversed represents holding back, recklessness, risk taking. The full reverse suggests that you have conceived of a new project but aren't ready to birth it into the world yet. You may worry that you are not fit or that you don't have all the tools, skills, or resources you need to take this project to success. Or perhaps you have a sense that the timing isn't right. Something is holding you back, and you are preventing yourself from moving forward. You may choose to keep this new opportunity to yourself for now, or you might be parking it until a better time. You may fear the unknown, wondering, what am I getting myself into? As a result, you have come to a standstill, worried about taking any action where you don't know the outcome. That's true. Baby is like he's 16 now, and he don't like anything. He don't like anything. He don't like doing nothing. I told him, you're 16, you can get a job now. I want him to be prepared for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want like, oh, I'll take care of you. Like, yeah, he doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to work at all. But I want him to get that experience. I need you to throw yourself into life because
Yeah.
you're never going to be prepared. And the earlier you're prepared, the better.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm scared to get a job. And I'm like, but why? He said, I don't know, but it like really, really scares him. And he'd be around people that he don't know and he's got to talk to them. They're going to talk to him. And I'm like, that's light.
Yeah.
When you grow up and you get a real job, if you wait till then, it'll be so much worse.
Mhm.
So you need to get a little job now. Okay. So, and he's like that with all experiences.
Well, our kids were working at 15 and 16, and, my stepson, he's like that, just quiet, reserved, he very, very shy to talk to people,
Mm.
but I think working really helped him, especially he did realize he loved making money. He wanted to quit high school and just work full time, and we're like, "Absolutely not."
That'll be the baby.
Yeah, and then once he became a plumber, he said that helped him talk to people that he, wouldn't normally, because he had to go to people's houses and
Yeah.
talk to them and explain things to them,
And
and
that's
he said that helped him a lot.
And that's even, like, more not frustrating, more anxiety inducing
Yeah.
because you're, like, one-on-one, face to face in
Mhm.
their personal space.
And they ask you a question and you have to have an answer to it.
Yeah.
So that he said that helped him a lot, but now he's a truck driver because
Mm.
that was too much work, physical, because he was doing, water heaters and stuff, and they were making him do it by himself, and they were, like, really heavy, and
Yeah.
he's like, "I don't wanna be," and he wanted to learn HVAC, but they wouldn't train him, and then he's like, "I don't wanna be a water heater guy my whole life, like, I wanna advance, and they won't let me." So now he's a truck driver making the same money, doing way less work, and then once he can drive those big trailers, that's what he wants, on the
Yeah.
road, he'll be making 3, 4 times that
Does he
money,
wanna
so
do cross?
yeah, on the it's called on the road, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't wanna do local.
He's doing local now, so he's still young, though. That's
Yeah.
what I told him. I said, "It's better for you to change your career now since you're young and you don't have responsibilities and kids and a mortgage.
It's
It's
not even
easier to
that.
transition."
Being a CDL driver, everyone's looking for CDL drivers.
Yeah,
If he wanted
he
to
went
move
to school
to
for it.
Yeah, if he wanted to move, well, you have to
Well, the job was gonna, pay the
train him.
schooling for him, but he had to wait till he was 23. He's like, "I'm not waiting that long," so he did it on his own when he was younger, 21. So he paid for it himself to have it now instead of wait till he was 23. Now he's
Yeah.
23.
CDL drivers, they want them everywhere and anywhere. So if
Mhm,
he wanted to move to a different state
mhm.
and he'll get a job so easy.
Even,
And if
like,
you
his father's friends work for the water company and stuff in the
Yeah,
township, and they're like, "We're looking for CDL drivers. If you get sick of, doing what you're doing, like,
yeah,
I'll get you a job." Like,
yeah. You can I'm not saying that it's like super easy, but yeah, you can the job opportunities for a truck driver are not limited. If he gets in with a good company and he's there for a while, he can get pension. Like the
yeah.
benefits for them are really good. I mean, I
Mm,
remember when at work when the truck drivers used to come up to get the orders and stuff. Like there was
mhm,
the one guy who always had his dog with him,
mhm.
or the other guy where it was like the husband and wife, she went on all his drives with him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's kind of cool, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to be sitting in the truck all day.
Well, it depends. If I'm retired and, like, "Yo, you wanna take a ride?" Like, it's not too long, I'm like, "Sure. I'll just jump in with you,"
Yeah,
do
yeah,
a
like
little
I won't mind
cross
that.
country. Yeah.
Or like there was who was the one guy and they used to call him the naked guy. He was I think he truck drove in like only shorts all year long.
Yeah. My stepdaughter was always scared
Yeah.
of growing up, of doing something new, and she just did it anyway. Like, when we're like, "You can't just not do stuff because 'cause you're scared."
Yeah.
Like, that's not
And
life.
That's what I told him. I said, "Plus, you'll have no experiences if you're scared.
Mhm.
You won't know what life really is if you're too scared to live it. This is how you're gonna find out what you like, what you don't like, what you wanna do with your life by just who cares if you're even just a bagger at a supermarket? You got
Exactly.
to get out of the house."
Mhm. And then he's gonna realize, like, that wasn't even that serious, like and then
That's what I told
his
him.
fear is just gonna
It's the
fall down.
anxiety. You're
Yeah.
building up so much anxiety that once you do it, you're like, "What the hell is I so freaking scared of?"
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not even that deep, and it isn't.
Those were just a handful of the winter stories people couldn't keep to themselves. Moments so unsettling they needed strangers on the internet to tell them that they weren't alone.
And maybe that's the scariest part. How many of these stories sound familiar? A feeling you've had, a moment you brushed off because it was easier than asking, "What if?"
If you have your own winter experience, something you think about when the temperature drops, we see you and we believe you.
Thank you for spending part of your night with us, for listening, and for keeping the shadows company.
Until next time, stay vigilant, stay awake, stay aware of the shadows that follow, because not all shadows are harmless.
And if you have a story to share, you can share it on TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, or Instagram. Links will follow.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know why. I laugh every time you say bye because it's
I say the bye just like that to my sisters too. I'm like, bye. And I
that's
hang
so
up.
cheerful, and you is not even that cheerful. Like